You're watching the Coyote Man Show Relationships. Don't bust my head where it's better to be loved than to get your head busted. Hosted by Ramsey Amadei, Uncle Shelton, and the Coyote Man on the Coyote Man Show Network.
So welcome back to Relationships. Don't bust my head, where it's better to be loved than to get your head busted. I'm the Coyote Man, and this is my host, Ramsey Amadea, and my other host, Uncle Sheldon Coyote. And I'm here with two of the people of the Don't Bust Your Head crew, Miss Shaw, people call her Sizzles. And Javion.
What it is. What's up, world? What's up, people?
And we gotta say peace to Queen Jackie, peace to Sonji on the edge.
Peace.
Queen Jackie is out snatching souls,
Snatching souls
across the land. Wherever you see a skeleton, she might have been by. And Sonji's daughter is having a child.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Oh
nice.
yeah, oh yeah. So they in the middle of delivery right now. Got some things popping out.
Popping out.
So we're gonna be spending some time with Just Pearly Things again, doing some review on her topics. Make sure y'all check out Just Pearly Things on Instagram, on YouTube. It's a real great show. Well, we're gonna be doing some listening to our show and seeing what people think about it. Are they right or are they wrong? So you can unmute the first question.
I have.
The other thing that I've never thought about is just how like girls are bailed out of every bad decision we make.
Okay.
And I didn't really realize that until I started like watching the red pill stuff. But really in society, every bad decision women make, we're bailed out of. Like if you sleep around, we have birth control. Mm-hmm. If you get pregnant, the government bails you out, or he'll bail you out. And then even if you leave him, you get half, or you get child support, and then some simp will bail you out after that. And then on top of that, like if you're homeless, there's women's shelters. So it's like literally every bad decision women make, like we're bailed out and like men pay for it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've never thought about is just.
So let's see what we think about that. So she said every bad decision that a woman make, she get bailed out of, you know? Hey, is that true, Shaw? What's going on?
I never looked at it like that, but I mean, in a way, I think she is correct because they do have more assistance for females than they do have for men, and I think she's correct. You know,
I think she checked the amount of shelters that it was for like a battered man or you know, somebody that had, you know, and it was like zero. And some of them are definitely getting battered, but
yes, they are,
especially nowadays. But yeah, and when you start thinking about that, you know, somebody bail you out of making a wrong decision as far as pregnancy, you're gonna be more loose because you can get bailed out.
Right.
If you choose to be in a bad marriage, then you could take half.
And I haven't seen if like it's a lot of fathers that single fathers, and you really don't see no shelter for a single father if you look at it.
Shoot. I know that for a fact. You know what I'm saying? We don't get bailed out. We get the bail put on us. It's definitely true. We got to examine these things because I believe that's the reason why all this delusional talk is because we not in the same circumstances. That's why one person can actually be delusional. Like a lot of females can speak from a delusional, a hope perspective. And we have to speak from a reality perspective because if we don't, you know,
you're right.
Reality is going to catch up with us.
I guarantee a lot of females won't look at that situation, you know, like, well, she's wrong. But if you look at it, they're not in touch with reality because what she's saying is true. And then you can actually look that up and see it's not that much help for a man than it is for a woman.
And we're gonna ask Uncle Sean. You know, it's like I don't think from what I can hear from. Like, even from our other shows, when people comment and stuff like that, I don't think they base anything on reality. They base everything about what they feel. They ain't check no stats. They ain't check nothing. It's just what they feel. What you think, Uncle Sheldon?
Man, I, initially I was like, man, that's kind of rough.
Yeah.
And then when I actually listen to what she's saying, I'm like, she ain't lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
No.
like it is what it is. It's like me. I'm gonna take another step further. Insurance, car insurance, pisses me off to the highest level of festivity. I'm gonna tell you why. I ain't gonna put her name out there, but she a tag head, so it really don't matter. I'm gonna tell her business. I ain't gonna put her name out, but I'm gonna tell her business. An ex of mine that shall remain nameless got in 3 accidents. All of them her fault. And she still wasn't paying half what I was paying for insurance for my car, and I ain't have no accidents.
Oh wow.
I'm like, what type of bullshiggity is this? It's like people. The last accident that she. Oh my goodness, I'm glad the baby was all right. But the last accident that she was in, the car was flipped over. I seen the undercarriage. I seen the muffler, and I was standing straight up. I wasn't looking up. I wasn't looking. I was looking straight ahead. In my vision, I'm seeing the muffler, car upside down, wheels spinning in the ditch. And yet, your insurance is cheaper than mine. I had issue with that. You was a danger in these streets.
That's right.
And it's
She
like when you
belongs
look
to the
at
streets.
yeah, it's like what's going on here. And then when I try to be open minded to things, whatever. I'm like, man, I don't. Maybe I wouldn't have worded it quite like that. But the truth is the truth. I mean, it is what it is. It's like, where does the dude go when he getting his behind whooped? I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where does he go? When you're dealing with Rasputia, there's no support groups for a woman kicking your behind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you's a sucker. You better lift some weights. You better do something. You better run faster. You better do something.
But then they're gonna ask you. They're gonna ask you, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
What did you do to make Rasputia beat you up? You had to do something.
You had to do something. You and the relationship over. What you do? Wait a minute. Hold up. How dare you? It wasn't me who was up there bumping nasties with so and so, and you know what I'm saying? It's like this is her fault. You know what I mean? There is. I would say there is a lot more resources.
You better believe it.
At the disposal.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what you think about what she said?
One question that I have in mind of what she was saying is, where is she from, first of all? Because I know that, like, in different states.
Well, she's from here.
She's from here,
but she moved to the UK. I think she was living in Chicago. If I might be wrong.
Because I noticed, I have heard, like, us being from a democratic state, that a lot of the resources, for the woman would be there, especially like with the child support and everything. It is definitely for the women here in our state being Democrat.
Yes.
So, but also too, I've heard too, I had a partner of mine that was from North Carolina, and the child support system is different down there. Whereas though it's more for trying to make the woman go out and work, and they're not offering those, those number of resources, in the dollar amount as they do in Democratic states, as they do in conservative states. So that's where I would kind of like, want to research a little bit more. Is it all of America that's doing it, like, or certain states in America that's,
Well, it's set up more. The programs are set up definitely more democratic, right? Mm-hmm. Conservatives definitely believe, do more, pull yourself up type of situation. And whether you're a Democrat or conservative, a lot of Democrats, I don't know, they behind a lot of crazy stuff. It's like, seem like most of the programs, most of the things that fixed it so that the men would get kicked out the house. Right. Most of all of that stuff, Democrats.
And just like what Sheldon was saying with the car insurance, that's how they base your car insurance too, on what area you live in. If you from the sticks and the suburbs and stuff, your car insurance may be lower than if you live in the city.
You better believe it.
You're gonna pay a lot more money.
You better believe it.
So
but it's still.
Go ahead, sir.
My bad. But it's still man versus woman.
That's
The
right.
fact of the matter is, they assume that because I'm a man, I'm gonna go speed racing on these streets, and I'm gonna try to race, you know what I'm saying, Hellcats and all this other type of stuff. And because wifey, not saying real wifey, but I'm just saying, an example. Wifey is going to back into a pole that's been there for 45 years. They like, okay, they're going to charge me more. You know what I'm saying? Because she's going to hit an inanimate object. Now my thing is, if she's hitting an inanimate object, you might need to check the mental. That thing been there for 45 years. Ain't bothered nobody.
That's
and
right.
she ran into it. You know what I'm saying? At least I hit something that was moving that wasn't there 2.5 seconds ago. That pretty much was trying to get somewhere that I'm trying to get to. But that's a whole nother thing. I'm my bad, man. My bad.
You're pretty riled up. You're pretty riled up.
A little something there.
Ramsey,
Tell me why you mad, son.
something
Tell me
there.
why you mad.
Ramsey,
Tell me why I'm mad, son. Tell you why I'm mad.
Ramsey, what you think about it?
Nah, I was just sitting there and just thinking and just going over it, right? Like, I mean, it's not, how can I say, like, when you think about it, it's not as, when you think of it, like, it's like, it's there, but you don't realize how much is there.
Yeah.
You just be like, wow, it's you know what I mean? Like I'm really just thinking about, you can't catch a break nowhere, right?
Right.
I mean, because it's almost laughable, like you said, even in the effects of, like you said, a dude calling the police about I've been beat up, or dude talking about he been raped.
After they laugh at you.
And in some cases, like I said, it could be it's some real incidents out there, right? I mean, but it almost come across as comical, right? As sad as it sounds. I mean, even in my ear, before I deal with it realistically, I'm gonna chuckle.
That's right.
But at the same time, it do show the disconnect. A lot of times I know, like I said, when I spoke to women, a lot of times, had to show them like how much like the guy's feelings is not considered a lot of times. Almost as if we operate like robots. I mean, even amongst ourselves, that's normally the communication. Like you can't really be vulnerable to unless you got, a certain type of brotherhood or connection or whatever the case may be, is normally the hard shell.
Most of the time when I say something to Ramsey, I say, now I wouldn't say this to nobody else. Even my baby brother Sheldon, because I don't want to hurt him. But I say, we careful about what we say to each other. We can say certain things that we ain't gonna say outside, because people gonna look at it a certain way. You're a grown man. Like, you could take a man and his woman, and I tell you that 10 people attacked them. Did y'all hear me? I just told you that 10 people attacked them. And I tell you, the girl got a black eye. And the first thing somebody gonna say is, what did he do? I just told you that 10 people attacked them. They didn't hear that. Everything got ignored after I told you the girl got a black eye. They gonna breathe that in and then say, what did he do? Nobody gives a skippity damn about the man. It's just what it is. That's why when they say, well, the greatest thing somebody could do for you is give birth to a child, I'll give you that. But nope, the greatest thing that a person can do for you is save your life. That's the reason why you give that man that type of respect, besides the fact that God told you to. You give him that respect because if something comes down to it, who is going to jump in front of the bullet? Who is going to be the one to get the life raft on the boat? Who got to stay on the boat when it sinks? And who get the life raft? So it shouldn't be a question about respect, because if you had any questions, if a dire situation popped up, you wouldn't have no more questions. It'd be very, very clear. You always say clearly with no hesitation, you're the man. So we're going to go to the next question. Here we go.
What is the mentality of the modern woman? The average modern woman that you see in the US or in the UK, how would you describe that mentality?
It's like they almost hate men.
Okay.
It's like a predisposition where they just like they feel like they don't need men, even though men built the world we live in, and we literally couldn't survive without men.
What is the mentality of the?
So she's saying that the modern day woman, and I think pretty much was kicked on by the feminists, kind of like, is that they don't need men, and she's saying that the world was built by men, and they couldn't actually survive without men. What you think about that, Shaw?
Well, we can't survive without men, because we need the man to create a baby. That's first thing. If we didn't have no men in the world, we couldn't populate the world. That's one thing.
Yep.
Second thing is, and it's only a certain percentage of the women who feel like they the boss, and I feel so. I'm a modern day woman, but I don't have that belief where I need my husband.
You're not a feminist though.
And yeah. But I think it's more to now so the women like, well, he making this, so he's doing this, I want to do that too. It's like they more like, oh, if a man can do it, I can do it. And some things I don't agree with, like, you had some people that work for the city, and and they had the women driving the trucks now, and now I just can't see no woman that's running no jackhammer. It's just crazy.
That's gonna destroy your body.
But you'll have a woman out there like, oh, I can do this because you can do it. I can do it too. And then you have some females out there trying to, deal with the jackhammer, which is crazy. So it's the male. I guess they done gone rogue. I don't know. They've gone far left or something. But
yeah, and then they wonder why they so miserable.
Right.
You wasn't designed to do certain things.
Right.
It's like we ain't trying to do stuff that females do. It don't even make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You get into a daggone boxing ring with a daggone real man. It makes no difference what he call himself.
Right.
And he beats you up.
He still got it's a man.
Yeah. He beats you up like you stole something. You know what I'm saying? Not call you anything you want to be called. Yeah. But the thing is to the point where you get in the ring with somebody that's a biological man.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why we have the problem right now. What they're talking about the transgenders, and they're going into these sport arenas. They turn themselves into women, and they done had the development with the testosterone and everything like that to develop their muscles. It was the one that where as though she joined the high school volleyball team and spiked the ball and broke the girl, knocked the girl unconscious. And they said, it was saying it was unfair because so they said, you know what? Whenever they play team,
that's crazy.
They're quitting because they have a unfair disadvantage because of her development. Even though she's a woman now, but she had all those years of being developing because she was born a boy, a man.
Now, I'm sorry. I find this hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not funny,
but it's funny. It's not funny.
It's funny. It's like I couldn't make this stuff up, right? Now, it's like. I feel like Shutter. You know how when he break down, when he try and catch himself, right? The issue is, right? See, I can't say I know what somebody from the transsexual community feels. You talking about a lot of different hormones.
Right.
You talking about, if we get too many hormones, it can make us, think any kind of way. So I can't say what a person is actually feeling. What I mean is I can't say that they might not say to themselves, I want to be in that sport. But I think that's still delusional. Like it's almost like they stepping into women. Maybe they are becoming women because they're becoming delusional. That you can actually literally be a man, step into a woman's situation, and then play against women.
No, I think they maybe had to do a whole new sport where they just had like a transgender. It means more equal, and I have nothing against the transgender, but their men are stronger than women. He done broke somebody's nose.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
So here's the thing. If you'd have put him in with all men, would he still have be that outstanding player?
Right.
Whereas though now he with women and has this this advantage over him and it's out there killing him.
Yeah.
If you put him with men, right?
Right.
The issue will be I believe the estrogen that they giving him would kill his advantage. Right. But against women, he gonna slaughter them.
Exactly. And that's how you have.
I mean, let me stop.
That's
She
the same
gonna.
way. Yeah, she's gonna slaughter.
Yeah.
And they had the one Olympic swimmer that, you know, transgender, and they was, you know, talking about that. Like, you know, she won the gold or whatever. And they're like, well, hold on, you know, you were born a man, you know, and you have this disadvantage over these females, and you're winning these competitions, you know.
Especially the kind that you could, like, they look like, I done seen some that look just like a woman, right? And I wouldn't even known they was a trans if they didn't say they wasn't a trans, right? They still look petite like a woman or something like that. If I didn't know, I'd be trying to protect them because all I see is a woman. But then if you see a man with his hair on, but he got big shoulders and, you know, he look like he could pick me up and throw me into a trash can.
Holidays hot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know.
I understand.
And I mean, maybe it ain't the man-woman thing. Cause there's some women I done seen.
It's like that, yeah.
That is big. And when I see them that big, I'm not in protective mode. I just naturally am not in protective mode. If anything, I think they might help me. You know what I'm saying? If something was to actually break out.
Yeah.
And they're a biological woman. You know, so I don't know. I tell you, which
well, I got a friend. And we've been friends for years, and she's gay, but she's built. She drinks the muscle milk, and I mean she built. So one day, she was coming up to my house at one time, and she had a back turn, and I'm at the door just talking. So she's me and her just rapping, and she up in there with a leather jacket, and all you see is this, like, you know, because she's cut out.
Okay.
So my husband drives back, and I just see him, his whole head, the nails like hanging out the car. Like, what the hell going on here? Who's this nigga coming out the, out the house? He jumped out the car so fast. And then when he turned around, when she turned around, Demetri, I didn't know that was you. But, I mean, she was just sitting there like, the cut and everything. I ain't with you.
Yeah.
Hold up, wait a minute, what's going on? But, you know, sometimes you just can't tell.
You can't tell. And I feel bad. Like, I don't never want to make a person, like, I don't get nothing out of making a person feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So if you come in here, you look like a female, I'm think you're a female.
Right.
And if you come in here and look like a now sometimes I can tell a woman is in that world, but she look so I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna try to greet her the way she want to be greeted, and I'm gonna watch the she's and stuff. But this is a lot for me to be responsible for. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, like, I gotta think, but I never, seriously, I really do not want nobody to feel uncomfortable because I don't get anything from it. Like, it's like
I got a question for that. Right? You said, you know, she, you know, was dressed more like a man and everything. But should, you know, should a guy keep his guard down because of that? I mean, because do they have their interest in women now instead of, you know, another man? And then, you know, if you slipping, hey,
I'm gonna tell you, I automatically. I'm gonna tell you something like this. My guard automatically comes down. It shouldn't be, but my guard automatically comes down. Lyrically, seriously, I seen this one. She was all petite and stuff like that, and it was known that this person was one, but she, even though she was whatever she was in the past, my eyes saw a woman, so I automatically was in protective mode. I don't know what it is. It's just what it is. If I see feminines, I'm in protective mode. If I see masculines, I'm a different person.
Okay, so she got masculines in her, and she going out with your significant other.
Okay, let's get.
Do your guard stay up, or do they come down? Because you say, you know.
See, my husband, his came all the way down, so he already know. It ain't that type party.
And with me,
you might try, you know.
my guards ain't really like my guards only come up under certain circumstances. Okay. My guards only come up if I think somebody can hurt my mate. Okay. I'm a very secure guy, like in my mind. So a guy could be talking to somebody. I'm in the back room as long as I don't feel that they are physically threatened because of the type of business I'm in. So I've always been in the entertainment business. Right. So people would talk to whoever I was dealing with anyway. It was a part of the whole moving, closing
Networking or whatever.
networking or whatever. I already knew she could sell more CDs at my time than I could.
Right.
So it's like we already knew what the deal is. But if I felt it was knock,
Oh, you just stepped out.
and knock, it's not about what my woman going to do. It's about if I'm feeling I'm dealing with a knock that don't understand boundaries, then we have a problem. I'm gonna be on more of the guard like that. But if it's some female that likes my female, that I know that my female could overpower easily if they try to deal with her, I'm not sweating that. You know what I'm saying? If I know it's some dude she talking to that got some sense, anything that's gonna happen is if she allow it to. You know what I'm saying? But if it's knock, now I'm on a guard. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm scared, it's because I know that knock don't have boundaries. And that's where I'm at. So what do you think about this whole thing, Sean?
I need a recap of what am I answering?
Okay, the first thing was push that tape.
It's so new. What is the mentality of the modern woman? The average modern woman that you see in the US or in the UK, how would you describe that mentality?
It's like they almost hate men.
Okay.
It's like a predisposition where they just like they feel like they don't need men, even though men built the world we live in and we literally couldn't survive without men.
Because of course in this era we have, under the age of 30 in a lot of cities in Western countries, women are actually out earning men on average. We know women are getting the vast majority. I think about 65% of university degrees are going to women now. And as we know, typically women tend to date and mate across and up socioeconomically and in terms of status and so on. So all of these things are happening at the same time. And it's creating a very, I don't know, man. It's creating a weird situation. Because of course, in this era,
I feel like everyone should have a health.
Because of course.
So, all right, Sheldon, so you can touch on any of that.
All right. First of all, let's stop the bull jive. You need us, and we need you. That's bottom line. And my thing is, when it's all said and done, I live by the phrase, "What am I trying to prove here?" It's like, what's going on? I watch wrestling. Of course, Coyote, you watch wrestling, so on and so forth. And I watch wrestling where there's a guy. Okay, I'm fitting to get canceled in 2.5 seconds, but it just is what it is. It's a guy that's living, I presume, as a female, wrestling in the women's division.
Really?
Yes.
Wait a minute, hold up.
And the problem I have with that.
Yo, Trey, hold up.
Wait a minute.
Which woman is that?
It's her wrestling name is Nyla Rose. That's AEW.
Oh, okay, thank God. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. No, I would have told you if it was. I know you don't watch it, so I'm like, no.
Okay.
But
all right.
My point is, it's like, oh, okay. I don't care what you choose to live as. Why isn't your behind wrestling the men? Because under all the makeup and the hair and all that stuff, you a dude.
Yeah.
Not trying to be disrespectful, but the physicality is there. You're a guy wrestling females. Ain't about what you prefer. See the problem is, I don't have a problem with you live how you want to live. The issue that I have is the fact that you demand me to treat you what you feel you should have been born as. And that's what I got an issue with. Because at the end of the day, look, if I came into the studio right now, and I said, you know what, Coyote? I always felt I should have been a bird. I'm gonna get me some feathers tattooed, I'm gonna get the surgery, I'm gonna get a beak sewn on my mouth. I want you to have me a plate of worms in here, because when I come here, I gotta be motivated, you know what I'm saying? I got to get my chirp on, my chirp on, And all rights and privileges, yes, I had the right to do that. But that's bull jive for me to have Coyote treat me yo, man, make me a nest over here, man. Make sure my eggs is warm. You know what I'm saying? That's unfair.
Yeah.
That don't make sense.
I'm not gonna be
It's
treating you
like
as a bird on the show. Not pulling.
it's
Draw the line.
it's the delusion. It's the delusion to the extreme of the situation. Yeah, you can be what you want to be, whoever you want to be. That's fine. But when you demand other people treat you as such, if I walk across the state lines of Maryland, I walk into Baltimore City and be like, look, I'm the king of Baltimore City. Y'all bow at my feet. I am the king. Right about now, y'all gonna look at me like I'm gonna beat the living crap out of you. I ain't bowing to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who is you?
But on another hand, how about if it's a man, a trans woman that used to be a biological man, and you start communicating with her, and she said, I would like you to refer to me as she.
I can refer to you as she. That's fine. Because the same way, you can give me a nickname and tell me to call you that. I'll call you that. But at the end of the day, you ain't she. And there's certain things that you're not going to, at certain times, you're not going to be thinking about that she stuff. Because it is what it is at a certain point. At some point, the rubber meets the road. And the problem that I had with it is the fact that when you don't get to pick and choose. You know what I'm saying? You take it with it. I put it like this. If you told the guys that want to live as females that they had to have periods like females, they had to give birth like females, they had to do things, you gotta take it home. You don't get to choose just to wear the makeup and the hair and stuff like that. That's the easy part. You know?
You want the glory hole.
Yeah, it's like, no, Chief, because to me, and this is just me personally, I think it's insulting when you can take the cosmetics of something and feel that makes you it. Like that's all it takes. There's a mental thing that comes with being a man. You can't just get a regular and put on some slacks and say you a man. No, that don't work.
Do you think that anybody at this point in time, with all the hormones, all the playing without food, all the things that's actually going on, you don't think there's anybody at this time that could possibly really feel like even emotionally, mentally, that they are female if they was born a male?
Do I think it's impossible?
No, do you think that's possible?
Do I think it's possible?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say so in that spirit, yeah, you can feel a lot of things. You can feel stuff that ain't even there. It's a feeling, you know? It's like it's people that feel like they're on Mars right now, walking this earth. It's people that feel that I need to kill everybody in the room. They feel this.
It's interesting, you know, because like when I hear certain people talk, I heard this one trans woman talk. She's like a reporter or something. Like no, she got her own podcast show or something, and she really, I mean, if she didn't believe that she was a woman, you know, I think she could take a lie detector test from the way that she actually communicate, you know, and the way she actually talk. I mean, I don't see no man at all. I don't hear no man at all. You know, it seems like she has adopted the whole female spirit, right? So just wonder about the mindset.
I think that also too, going off of the sound clip that you played, how she was saying that, you know, it's kind of negative towards the men here in America right now is too, we got to stop and think about the history too. like back in the 50s and 60s, you know, well 50s and 40s maybe, women weren't allowed to, like 40s, weren't allowed to vote. They had to stay at home, be housewives. It was a lot of things they weren't able to do. And now coming out of that culture and evolving into a culture where women have a lot more opportunity, and just looking back from our past, you know what I'm saying, it could leave a negative taste, just like with slavery as well, you know, like we came from a long way to where as though we're not going back to that. Right. So we have a bad taste, you know, from our past culture as we evolve and everything. So I think what we're trying to do is, as we're progressing forward into the future, is try to find that balance.
You know something, Javion, some stuff is hidden, even out of plain sight. A lot of people say that women wasn't allowed to vote, right? But at that time, if you researchers, you'll find that women didn't want to vote because voting was tied into being drafted. So they was happy that they couldn't vote because of the fact is they couldn't be drafted. Right? So when they actually, you know, so a lot of stuff is like hidden, you know, with the feminist movement and them making their move and their stand for rights, right? A lot of stuff was hidden because at the same time they was making their move, what is it? Martha Sankey, the lady from Planned Parenthood, was making their move. So we had a double whammy move done on our community at the same time. You know, and a lot of things is hidden under this false notion of freedom. I think what they should have been fighting for is opportunity. They never should have been fighting for equal rights. Nothing is equal. I'm not equal with a bird. You know what I'm saying? I'm not equal with a woman. I'm just not. It's certain things that I can do and certain things that she can do that I can't do. I'm not equal to her in the having baby Olympics. I'm not equal to her in the organizing Olympics, you know? She's not equal to me in the leadership Olympics.
But what about equal pay?
Oh yeah, if a person do a job, she should get equal pay. And I'm gonna tell you something, a lot of times when they did the research, it wasn't the fact that she wasn't getting equal pay. It was the fact that a couple of things was happening. Men are more disagreeable. Women are more agreeable. So when a man get to a job, he gonna ask for his raise. And if he don't think he getting paid enough, he's gonna demand that he get paid more. This has been proven that women are least likely to ask for a raise and a man is more likely to ask for a raise. And that's because the disagreeableness. And let me say this last thing. The second thing they found out about the wage gap was that the reason why it's a big wage gap is not because of the fact that women getting paid different than men. It's because women naturally and biologically do different jobs than men. They don't want to get into the STEM. They don't want to get into the fields we in because they only want to equalize this thing when it benefits them. They don't want to equalize us in the medical field. In the medical field, there's more women nurses, more women doctors, but they don't want to equalize that. They don't want to equalize us in prison. There's more men in prison. They don't want to equalize us in suicide. There's more men that commit suicide. They don't want to equalize us with STEM fields and men that sweep the ocean. They don't want to equalize us with bricklayers, like what his name? What is it? What's his name? Jordan Peterson said they don't want to equalize us with that. They want to equalize us with this with a CEO position that most of them ain't gonna do because a CEO takes like 80 hours, right? The average man don't wanna spend the type of hours that it takes to be a CEO. A woman wasn't biologically made to do that. I'm not saying that she can't do that. She can give up her family, all that stuff. But naturally, it does not coincide. So when they do the wage gap in order to prove their point, they just put all these numbers together without actually letting you know the other variables of the situation. The women don't want those jobs where you get bigger money. They don't want the plumbing job. They don't want the electric job. They don't want to clean the sea. They don't want the mining company. They don't want these jobs to have scale of pay. They want the little cushion job. And the little cushion job and the nurturing jobs pay less than the jobs that are more aggressive. But that's swept under to make it look like the pay gap is this real big thing between men and women. And I know it was kind of funny for me anyway, because when I went on the job, most of the time, it wasn't no difference. If I got paid this, she got paid this. You know, I knew because some of the people I dealt with, so I knew, you know what I'm saying, when they was getting paid, and I was offered the same thing. But I would ask for my raises on time. You better believe that.
You know what? I agree a little bit, but then I kind of disagree because I worked at Bethlehem Steel.
Okay.
And I worked hand in hand with the women of Steel.
Okay.
And they worked alongside, and they did those dangerous jobs as far as being under the ladle, 3,000 degrees heat steel, and they worked their butts off. And hats off to them. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted it, and they wanted to go up the pay scale and the ladder, you know, along with the male counterparts. Now, I agree, it's a lot of physical things on the job that they're not able to handle as far as, you know, lifting certain weights and stuff like that, but that's where we work alongside with them as the male counterpart to try to, you know, that way we have a working family, you know what I'm saying?
So you had to help them do their job?
Yeah, we helped each other because there was times, too, because I could tell you, too, like, there was times where as though they were good organizers as far as like being inside, you know, coming up or helping us, you know, getting the supplies and chain in order and everything like that. So it worked hand in hand, you know what I'm saying?
But Chris, the only thing with that is that's the exception to the rule, because statistically, women don't take these jobs. So when you go by the numbers of the pay gap that they judge it by, women are not in those fields. They're not dying to get in those fields, right? They're overrunning men in the medical fields, and they don't want no equal with that. Equal is only coming in where it's somewhere there's something to sound good. You know what I'm saying? Like a CEO job, and they done told them, oh yeah, you gotta work this amount of hours and paternity leave. What's that? You know what I'm saying? The CEO, we still need him. It's not no vice CEO. You know, so it's like, I mean, I'm just saying that this stuff is hidden. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that women can't do some hard labor jobs. God bless their souls if they do, because they was not meant for it. I know for a fact they wasn't meant for it. Look at your daughter. Women has an inclination towards sleep that men don't have. And anybody will tell you this. My daughter could sleep all day if I allowed her to.
Yeah, mine too.
Women that I have been with, Sonji, I could wake her up 2 days later and she'll say, is it time to go to work? If I would let her. You can't do that with me. I'm too busy trying to grind and make things happen. I'm barely sleeping the time I'm sleeping. But when women tell you, I am tired, that's what they mean. It's not the same as us, because they wasn't designed to work over 8, 7, 9, 10 hours and all that stuff, and then you still expect them to do certain things. Man, we'll work that time. We could come home, freaking do whatever, because we ain't going to sleep anyway. We still pumped off of what we got to do the next day. It's just a total different demographic. That's why all these women in the medical field, people wind up having so much trouble with them as wives. No offense. Because they spend so many hours at work. They're exhausted when they come home. And they ain't thinking about cooking no meals. They're not thinking about taking care of no children. They need to be taken care of. Everybody need a wife. She need a wife, he need a wife. Ain't no wife home. What you think, Ramsey?
Yeah, which part? Because we covered
all of
it.
Yeah, we all of it.
Jake, where you fit in?
Okay,
let's go point by point.
Yeah, let's throw it down point by point.
But we're going to go backwards only because we just said what we said.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying in the sense that everybody needs a wife at this point. A woman is working those type of hours. She wasn't necessarily made to work those type of hours. We touched on that, and we touched on the wage gap to the point where a lot of the wage gap was hidden under the fact that we choose biologically different jobs.
Well, let me. So what's the first one when you said everybody need a wife?
Everybody almost needs a wife when you working them type of hours.
Yeah, and I guess that would be the imbalance part, right? Because I think in that case we talked about pretty much people running from their power, right? And in femininity and in that role, there's a power there that I think, you know, if we both trying to do the same thing. It's almost like on a football team, you got two quarterbacks, you know, trying to figure out who's gonna throw the ball. Ain't no wide receivers out there in the field, right? It's like we gotta operate as a team. And, you know, and to be honest, I mean, you know, I'm old school in that sense, but I feel like the woman's power is in the home, right? Now, I know a lot of, you know, with the modernization of women and you know, even that was a trap that we fell into where, you know, they want to keep us all as consumers, right? As single parent, you know, that women spend more money, right? If they're by themselves, if it's not in the household. So that was a whole commercial thing to break up the household and to take the woman outside of the house, right? Because now at that point now everything costs now you know now you're paying daycare, right? Now it ain't no home cooked meals, right? So now it's a lot more processed food, so now it's a lot more medical bills, you know. So that was a whole commercialization program right there that we ran away from the power, you know, the autism at an all-time high, a whole lot of other stuff, diabetes, high blood pressure, all because people want, you know, okay, I want my own money. You know, that was a part of that. So I would say, you know, in that case, right, like you said, everybody would, a nurturer would be needed in that household, right? You know, and that's the thing. If you run away from that, then you create a whole nother world of problems, you know, trying to be equal in that sense, right?
And it's no equal in that sense.
I mean, right, because I mean, it's not supposed to be, like I said, it would be unbalanced, right? In that sense, right, like you said, then she would need a wife, right? And then she'll be searching for her man to be that wife, and then that's why they'll be clashing in the household over trying to sit in the same seat, regardless of what seat that is, even if he's trying to sit in her seat, you know. But in this world, you know, she'll allow him to sit in her seat.
That's right.
Because she want his seat, you know, and maybe until she really get it, though.
Yeah, once she get that seat.
You know, if it, like you said, if it came with all of the other things,
if it came with the responsibility of protecting the house,
right, and right, all of that, right, truly, right, protecting and truly providing and all of that. But then, like I said, it would be a imbalance. Like you really don't want that. You don't want that. And so the other thing about
the other thing was just the pay gap period. Right. How the fact that they hid when they was doing the feminist move, they hid the fact that we biologically choose different types of jobs. Matter of fact, in certain places where they tried to even it up, they found out that the pay gap even widened worse. The more they made it equal, the more the pay gap widened. Why? Because women naturally choose different jobs and men naturally choose different jobs.
Right. Now, like you said, and I think that would be based off of different things and different cultures. Because, like, I mean, even in our culture where you have, you know, it seemed like it would be more women that's making, like, especially money on their own with doing the salon business and things of that nature, right? And you know, so that may differ, but I'll always go back to the hidden hand on all of this, right? Where it's like all of this has a deeper meaning, you know, like what we're fighting over, like you know, like you said, and running from the position of what you're supposed to be doing, trying to run out in the work world. You know, I would say it's more about, like I say, even with the family structure, right? So I can't really get on that one too much, because it's like you say, whatever you work at, you get what you earn. You get what you earn for the most part, right? So I can't really look more into that other than the fact that we both, because I mean, we're not getting paid what we supposed to get paid if you look at it based off of the color system anyway, right? Right. For the most part, right? There is a wealth gap right there, you know, and I would say more of that would be is us being more control of our money, more into getting into our own businesses and creating our own wealth. Yeah. You know, we're gonna always be on that situation if you think about it, because first law of nature is self-preservation. So you can't go into another person's system. That's right. And ask them to benefit you over them. That's right. And that's in any structure. So if you're going into a structure owned by another culture, and then, like you said, then on another sex for that part, is, you know, you're gonna suffer the consequences of that. That's right. You know, so I mean that's just the reality of that matter, and that goes for us as men too. Yeah. You know, we get no benefit going into another culture and asking them to pay us more than they pay their peoples.
Got you. So we gonna listen to this last thing, and we're just gonna say something real quick, and then we're gonna roll from there. Here we go.
Because of course.
I feel like everyone should have a healthy amount of bullying growing up.
Agreed.
Because I think that's why people from bigger families are better than everyone else. because if I had started to think too highly of myself, my older brother would humble me.
Yes.
He would tell me, you know how you're ugly. And I'd be like, oh, this guy messaged me. Yeah, okay.
Man. Savage.
And I'm like, I just feel like it grounds you a little bit, and it doesn't. You don't get that big of an ego because like the people around you won't let you. I feel like everyone.
The reason why this is kind of important because they went on a campaign for bullying, and whenever sometimes you think something is happening for good, it's not always happening for good, because when we have bullies, not that I'm a lover of bullies, but one thing bullies did, well, it stopped a lot of the stuff we doing now in these schools and stuff wouldn't be done with the bully did. You know, when bullies was around, it's certain things you ain't doing, you know. At one time, you wouldn't be wearing no skinny jeans to school.
No.
You know, it's certain things that wouldn't be even known that's going on in school now. Certain things wouldn't even be allowed because the bully wouldn't have let it. So think about it. Before they could run all these crazy campaigns that they running now, they had to eliminate the bully. Because if the bully was still in place, you wouldn't feel comfortable about doing a lot of this foolishness. You ain't want to be fat just because you ain't want to be dealing with the fat jokes. You ain't want to be dealing with no bullying. It's a lot of things you didn't want just from the bully. They made sure you came to school dressed a certain way.
So you saying the bully was the gatekeeper?
The bully was the gatekeeper.
in a sense, yeah, because in elementary school, I never forget, I had a couple of people, they still my friends on my Facebook page now, and they came back like 20 years later and apologized. But like in elementary school, I used to get bullied every day, bully. And then, but I think it builds you, makes you stronger. Cause now society they weak. You know, like my kids, they already know in my household, and they can't be bullied, but they might be the bullies. I don't know. Yeah. But I think it makes you stronger because it builds character because you start to stand up for yourself.
Everybody are offended.
Everybody's offended now.
They could be offended over anything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They could be offended over you sneeze. That was kind of offensive. You know, I mean, it's like, yo, what kind of...
You can't say anything now.
Play-Doh.
I guess it does take away the competitive, like how we was
competitive,
right?
Yeah.
Nobody, you just get your participation trophy just for trying out. You're
yeah. What kind of sports? And everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody get a trophy. Yeah.
So it definitely, it does take a competitive edge off for the children, and like you said. Like you in the social environment, you got to learn how to deal with adversities and overcome difficulties.
Or what happens? You set yourself up for a bowl of medicine, because when you cannot handle discomfort, or you can't handle the fact that you might lose something, or something might not go your way, you're so easily offended. The only thing that's going to be left for you to do is take medicine.
It's going to be a pill for that's why it's a pill for everything.
It's a pill for everything, because you can't handle somebody saying. Man, when somebody told me, dang, Coyote, look like my daughter said, oh, Dad, look like you got a baby in there. I said, well, it's time to go to the gym.
Yeah, let me get this together.
My daughter is bullying me. It's time to take my black tail to the gym. That's all I had to hear. Now, if she said, well, Daddy, I love the way this little fat on your pouch kind of feel and stuff like that, I might have been like, oh, that's kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? I might have took it a little bit. But when she said, Dad, look like you got a baby in there. Whoa, boy. I'll be there at 5 o'clock in the morning on sharp. It's like, so I'm not saying that nobody should bully to the degree that somebody is physically getting hurt. And I'm definitely not saying this to the LGBT, their community, where I want somebody to I think you are a terrible individual if you put your hands on anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of their sexuality or something crazy. I don't want nobody beat me up because I like women pretty feet. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to beat them up because they like whatever they like.
I think it toughened me up. Like nobody can bully me no more at all. I bust all the bullies. I'm like the bully buster now.
yeah.
I tell you one thing I like in the clip that she said that her brother did that to ego check her. And we have an ego issue in our society sometimes where people get this big headedness about themselves, either being because they come from a family of wealth or, or good looks or whatever like that, and just, want to step on others. So that's where the bully will come in, or, to say, look, I'm going to check you and put you, bring you back down a notch, bring you back down to
reality.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, there's people in society that need that at a time, because if not, they just
a little bit.
Right. So that's what I like what she said in the clip. Her brother did that to check her ego.
I like what Eddie Griffin said. He said he thought he was Billy Badass until he met Billy Badass. And Billy Badass knocked him down. And he learned he wasn't a fighter. I'm going to play tennis. You know what I'm saying? Right. But Shadow, what you feel about this? And then we gonna go to Ramsey, then we out of here.
I'm kind of that's a little rough because the problem that when I was growing up, the bully was more than likely the trendy dude. I mean, he talked about you because you didn't have. Mm-hmm. So this motherfucker, whatever it was, it's like whether it was the pants sagging off his butt or the Jordans or the skinny jeans, he was wearing that crap. You know what I'm saying? And talking to you, you know what I'm saying, bullying you, and then it's like now you got too much access. The bully was at the playground. If he didn't live on your block, you ain't had to deal with him outside of school hours. Mm-hmm. But now you got to the point where you got Instagram. Man, back when I was a kid, the thing was to get your number, your phone number. Mm-hmm. Today, you don't need no phone number. You got Facebook pages. You got access. So a bully is clowning you in school, out of school. You ain't even on the clock and the bully is up there messing with you. And I'm like, everybody don't have the mental stability to true. Be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Hold up. You know what I mean? So you dealing with this on you only in school 6 hours and you dealing with bullying for like 12 or so. It's like at least.
What
I
get you with that. And I support that argument. The only thing I have with these internet bullies is maybe because I come from a different time. Because if an internet bully tried to bully me, I would do something he might not be expecting. I would turn him off. And I think our people spend too much time on social network, right? Our kids, you leave school and you go right back to all your friends and everybody on social network. If you turn them, but this is how it would be. If you turned them off, they'd be like, yeah, and so-and-so and so-and-so. Ain't no keep saying that because she don't even be on the line. You see how she checked out that group? She don't never hear this. She don't have, we give ourselves, we done made some pokeberry dough children.
Well, let me tell you, one of my older daughters, the true story. She was arguing with some people on this was it wasn't what was the other one? It wasn't Facebook.
Instagram?
No, not Instagram.
Twitter?
No, before that,
TikTok,
MySpace.
Okay, you going back?
We on MySpace. This is my old daughter one in there, but she is MySpace.
Way back.
So she in there going off, and she on there, and you see the fingers going on the computer, and da 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 da. Now my daughter is not, but wasn't, she raised in the county, straight county. She nothing about the hood, never, none of that stuff. So she in there arguing. I'm like, well, what's going on? She said, yeah, you can come down here. I'm at such and such, such and such. She typing the address and everything. So I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I'm arguing with these girls, and I'm looking at the screen. I said, these girls from Park Heights, you gonna have me and your father out there fighting like 10 people from Park Heights? I'm like, really?
Oh, man.
I said, you was
the real deal.
I mean, a social media bully, but she was arguing with 10 girls from Park Heights who talking about coming down here. I said, she's not a fighter. But you gonna have me and your father out here fighting these people from Park Heights.
She fussing with the outside kids. She fussing with the
outdoor
outside kids.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
But you also have another term they call them in this social media era. It's called trolling, where they
Yeah,
troll
yeah,
you.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
you
that.
really must got to be on, and then you hear about next day. Next day, everybody know because they was on social media, but you weren't, and you got to fight, and you ain't must prepare for it because it's like, oh, you didn't know, you didn't check your page, yo. He said he was gonna kick your ass. What? I wonder. We bullying. What's this, man? Yo, why you ain't just say that? You know what I'm saying? It's like I did. You should have checked your page. Oh, see.
In that case, I stand correct. Like I believe we do need some bullies, but not to that degree.
Yeah.
You know. I just think we need some type of checking. All of this.
Yeah, checking is cool.
All of this. A woman overweight, and she and you know what I mean. And instead of getting her right, you know she's more prone to have some bad issues, and you're gonna go, yay, go ahead, girl. I don't want to be like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that is terrible. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then she grow up, she's sad, she's miserable. She got to tell you she's happy to be. Come on, man, stop it. You know what I'm saying? This is creating unbelievable delusion. You know, delusion that the overweight lover cannot have, because he going to tell you straight up, hey, nah, I need to lose this weight.
Right.
Ramsey, we're going to wrap it up with you.
Wait, like I was saying, you know, I'm thinking like it's different levels, right? Now, like you said, it's definitely you know, it's healthy levels of what you would say bullying. You know what I mean? Like a rites of passage, so to speak, right? You know, where certain, you know what I mean, with amongst your peers, you challenge each other. You know, they say still sharp and still, right?
That's right.
So it's that, right? But then also, you know, we definitely don't want to, you know, shine a light to the, you know, like you said, when people are really harming, you know what I'm saying, people getting killed and things of that nature when it goes into mental health. So there's two different balances to that, right? But it's definitely, you know, it's like you said, it's a level, because it's a certain thing where parents can't reach the children, right? So with children and children kind of, you know, get things right together, you know. So you need that, and I think that's what's been taken away, right? That social pool, that social engineering, where, like you said, we're to the point where that's where you get tougher, you know, with your homeboys or with your homegirls coming up, and you develop that tight skin that prepare you for the world. And I think to a degree, you know, with like you said, with more technology, social media, children don't even want to go outside for the most part. You know, their whole thing is right in front of their screen. So and in that way, so they don't learn to deal with challenges like we have. So when they get a first bit of that that thing, that's how you get people shooting up schools and stuff like that, because they can't handle.
Yeah, that's where that comes. That's where that come from.
You know, and it's like, I can't take it. Everybody got to die. You know, because you don't know how to deal with a situation and say like, all right, let me, you know, like you said, and either be humble to a degree, and got to deal with that and rise above that difficulty. So I feel like in that sense, the bullying or the competition amongst peers is needed.
Yeah. Seems like we're in a world that everything that's being promoted is death. You know, everything that's good is death. Everything that's good is dangerous. They banning knowledge. They blocking you from knowledge. They canceling you from knowledge. But you can tell a person to eat themselves to death. You can tell a person to take off all their clothes. You can tell a person a Negro ain't S and go and kill him. You can say any crazy thing, but as long as you ain't talking about knowledge, seem to be uncounselable. Well, that's all we got. We see y'all next week. The same relationship time, the same relationship place. And we out of here.
Peace.
You're watching the CoyoteMan Show Relationships. Don't bust my head where it's better to be loved than to get your head busted. Hosted by Ramsey Amadeh, Uncle Shelton, and the Coyote Man on the Coyote Man Show Network.